I was racking my brain for a new game to review. It seems like everything that comes out these days is either too graphically advanced to run on my shitty laptop, or way too expensive for me to afford. When I look at an $80 price tag for a brand new PS4 game, I start to lose hope. I mean, I get it. The Canadian dollar is so shit that $80 here is the same as the $60 price in the US, but when I'm on a tight budget, I really can't justify that kind of spending. I think the last full-price game I bought was Arkham Knight, and that's because it came with my PS4. But then something happened. Something I never thought would happen, but was welcome nonetheless. I got word that a game that was a few years old was getting released on Steam, a game I had heard of before and wanted to play, but couldn't. That game was Danganronpa. Well, the full title is Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, but that's a bit of a mouthful. Let's start at the beginning. I can only describe this game's release as unfortunate, for me at least. It was first released in Japan for the PSP before being ported to the PS Vita in 2013. The game only saw a wider release that included North America in 2014, but it was still only on the PS Vita. Are you starting to see the problem here? This game was trapped on the PlayStation Portable consoles for nearly 6 years before it finally got a worldwide release on PC. About fucking time. And with the sequel coming out on Steam soon, I figured this would be the perfect game to review. Only problem is, this game will be ridiculously hard to review without spoiling it. But with some careful editing, I think I can give you an idea of what this game is like without giving away anything important. This is a special case because, as you may have noticed, sometimes I get a touch lazy with my editing. Yeah, just throw in more dated memes, that'll work fine. But this game is so unique that I feel I should spread the word about it and at the same time try my best not to ruin it for anybody. Let's start with the story. You play as Makoto Naegi, a Japanese high school student who was just accepted to the prestigious Hope's Peak Academy. He's a bit nervous about it because in order to go to this school, you have to be the ultimate student in your chosen field. And Makoto was chosen as the ultimate lucky student because he won a draw or something. Other than that, he's just average. And by average, I mean he has nearly no personality at all. He's not so much the ultimate lucky student as he is the ultimate basic bitch. Anyway, as the game begins, Makoto stands outside the school before gaining the courage to walk inside, but when he gets into the school, he loses consciousness and wakes up in a classroom where you quickly discover that something is off about Hope's Peak, like how there are steel plates bolted over the windows, and how every single inch of the school is under camera surveillance. You leave the classroom to look for other students, and eventually you find them in the entrance hall. Altogether, there are 15 students, including Makoto, and not a single one of them knows what's going on, or how they even got into the school in the first place. Well, whatever, it's nice to see a cast of unique characters, even if a fair chunk of them are raging jackasses. I could tell you who they all are, but I'd rather make fun of their ultimate titles. Let's see, we've got the ultimate hard-ass, the ultimate insecurity, the ultimate bait-and-switch, the ultimate Hot Topic customer, the ultimate 4chan user, the ultimate jailbait, the ultimate cutest thing I've ever fucking seen, the ultimate one step ahead of everyone, the ultimate creepy smile, the ultimate what the fuck is he even doing here, the ultimate chick not to fuck with, the ultimate scam artist, the ultimate fake it till you make it, and the ultimate fucking asshole. No, I don't really have a clever joke for Togami, he's just a fucking asshole. But don't pick out your favorite character just yet. We still haven't gotten to the meat of things. After everyone is introduced, the students are called to the gym. It's there that they find out the school's headmaster is this Five Nights at Freddy's reject called Monokuma. Get it? He's a monochrome bear? Astounding. But here's where the story takes a dark turn. The plan is to have the students live out the rest of their lives trapped in the school, and when everyone of course has issues with this, they're told there's only one way to leave, or as Monokuma calls it, graduate. Kill another student and get away with it. See why I said don't pick a favorite character? It's best not to get attached. So the students are given e-handbooks that let them into different rooms around the school and hold a list of the school regulations. And you better follow those regulations, cause if you don't... So even though everyone is totally not okay with this, they agree to stick to the rules so they don't die, and the game begins. Anyway, with all that laid out, we need to talk about the gameplay. I guess you could call this a visual novel, but it also has first-person segments when you run about the game exploring and looking for other students to talk to. See, the way the game works, you're given free time every now and then to hang out with other students. This time can be skipped, but I wouldn't recommend doing so. Talking to the other students can give you skills. What skills? Well, we'll get to that. Thing is, you don't have free time every day. It's pretty much there to break up scripted events and give you a little more interaction with the other characters. And just so you know going in, the game is a linear story, so there's no way to act in such a way to prevent a beloved character's death. This is gonna hurt. So basically, you play along with the story until someone dies. Yeah, it had to happen eventually, and Monokuma throwing about things to motivate you to murder someone only sped up the process. So now it's time to play detective. You're first given access to the Monokuma file, which tells you around what time the murder occurred and what the cause of death was. Also, quick note, all the blood in this game is pink. I believe it was due to the rating system in Japan, something about too much blood giving it a higher age rating than the Japanese equivalent of M-rated. I don't know. Anyway, for your part in the investigation, you use the mouse to click on different things in the crime scene. By doing this, you pick up evidence and clues. You can also get other students' accounts of what they were doing when the murder occurred. Also, if you're uncertain where to look, hitting the tab key will show you what objects can be investigated, which is pretty helpful. Now, you might be wondering, what's the point of all this? Do they really expect you to solve the murder? Well, yes they do. But you don't just gather everyone up and point out the murderer Professor Layton style. No, we're taking this to court, bitch. More specifically, the class trial, which takes place in this ridiculous-looking courtroom where everyone stands in a circle and goes over the evidence. And this is where the game gets complicated. Before you even start the trial, you should go through your evidence, now called truth bullets, and don't worry about missing any evidence. The trial doesn't start until you've collected everything you need. You're also given the chance to set your skills. This is where talking to other students pays off. The skills you get from them vary, but they can really help you out during the trial. They might give you more time to come up with an answer or damage advantages, stuff like that. Quick warning, the trials can last up to 2 hours, and you definitely don't want to leave in the middle of one, because keeping track of all the evidence you've talked about is essential to solving the murder. And another thing, escaping from the school is not the only thing at stake here. If someone successfully gets away with murder, they get to leave, yes, but everyone else who didn't commit murder will die. So, your life's on the line here, better take this shit seriously. Now, as for the trial itself, I've seen this section being compared to the trials in Phoenix Wright, and while there are many similarities, I would argue that this game has more to its trials in terms of complexity. It starts with everyone discussing who they think did it, and you have to present the right evidence at the right time to move things forward. But the main thing you'll have to worry about are non-stop debates. The students will debate what they think happened, and it's up to you to spot any contradictions or lies. When you see one, shoot it with a truth bullet, and the debate ends. This gets more challenging as the game goes on, like having multiple bullets to choose from and having to use statements from different parts of the debate as bullets. You can repeat the debates as needed, but you have to make sure you don't run out of time, because if you do, you lose. Also, shooting the wrong thing drains your life, so be careful. You'd think that'd be it, right? Present evidence and figure out who did it? Actually, no. There are what I'll call mini-games scattered throughout the trial. There's Hangman's Gambit, where you have to shoot letters in the right order to come up with a word. Then there's this fucking DDR shit that made me dizzy as hell. You have to click on beat and shoot the opposing person's statement. There's a lot to get through to prove without a doubt who did it, and the trials are obviously the best parts of the game, and it's just about the only sections in the game that are fully voiced. The rest of the game has some voices, but it's just a bunch of random lines and noises that get used over and over. It feels kind of lame by current standards because most other visual novels, at least professionally made visual novels, are fully voiced. But whatever, there's assloads of dialogue in this game, I get why they didn't voice all of it. So at the end of the trial, you summarize how the murder happened by placing scenes into a comic. And yes, the comic is backwards, this game is Japanese after all. Then the comic plays out with Makoto explaining what happened. After that, everyone votes for who they think did it, and then...
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
I can't actually show you any of the punishments, first because it's spoilers, and second because 2 of them get copyright claims. Why? Well, not 100%, but it could be because they use the punishment scenes from the game in the Danganronpa anime, and YouTube's automatic system can't tell the difference. But that's just a guess. Anyway, do you see why I find this game so unique? Murder mystery games are common, but with this one taking place in such a strange scenario and with younger people, it really does stand out, especially with its gameplay style. A lot of messed up things happen throughout the game, and even though characters you like might die, you'll feel compelled to keep playing just to figure out what's going on. You'll be wondering what could possibly happen next and question who could really be behind this whole scheme. Now, I wouldn't say this game is perfect, or even really for everybody. If you don't get attached to the characters, the idea of people dying at any point probably won't faze you, and some parts of the story are so insane they'll really take you out of it. I'd like to think the game is trying to be ridiculous and out there, so plot twists are always unexpected, but it feels a bit odd for a game that takes other moments so seriously. Although it could just be an issue with the translation, I've seen a lot of people bitching about that. But even with its flaws, I found this game to be a fun experience. Also a dark, horrifying, blood-soaked experience, but an enjoyable one nonetheless. So if you're down for a great mystery game, you should definitely give Danganronpa a try. It's like $30 on Steam, which might seem like a lot, but trust me, the amount of content in the game makes it well worth that price. I mean, my first playthrough was like 30 hours or so it balances out, I think. I can't wait for the sequel. And that's all I've got for now. Still not entirely sure what I'm gonna review next time. Fuck it, may as well review the second game. Oh, and by the way, if I see anyone posting spoilers in the comments, may you rest in peace. Anyway, if you want to see what's next, subscribe, and the next review will be posted soon. I promise. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.